Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had a very wonderful week. If you are new to Mental Health Moment, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. If you are returning and are here every Tuesday. Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning back in. Thanks for those who are starting to join here. Or if you're watching the replay on my YouTube channel, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. And again, Mental Health Moment is every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Hopefully I can see the comments today because sometimes there's some issues, but be sure to let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. And hopefully I'll be able to see them today. Sometimes they come in a little bit slower. But I hope that you all had a great day yesterday as well, which of course was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So many of you, I'm assuming, were off from work or off from school. And hopefully you really had an opportunity to make that a day of service. For myself personally yesterday. And hi, thanks for those who are joining here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Yesterday with the Ryan Neese Foundation, which is an organization, a nonprofit in the Tampa Bay area. We and along with a couple of other organizations in the community hosted a youth leadership service summit, and it was really cool because I got to watch these incredible teenagers spend half their day with community service initiatives all over different counties, and then half the time learning about giving back and leadership. So it was really, really cool. So that's how I spent my MOK day. And good evening. Thanks for those who are joining here and returning here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Yeah, so it was a really great day. And, I just always encourage you all, obviously, to give back as much as you can, as often as you can, to as many places and to different organizations, people in your communities as you can. There's so much that we can do. We sometimes don't even recognize it's sometimes it's just the smallest actions which can have really large results and really great impact. So I encourage you to do that. And again, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So we are still at the beginning of this year here, the very first month of the year. And of course, as I promised for you all, we are going to be working on mindset training this month. So, well, for the next the next couple of Tuesdays here, right, for the rest of this month, because mindset is so important. For those of you new to Mental Health Moment, this is all about how do I become the best version of who I am? How do I become the best version of who I am, not just for me, but for those around me, right? Because when you become the best version of who you are, of course, helping yourself, but also those around you. So I'm going to give you 3 tips today. And for those of you, I know some of you are note takers. So if you're a note taker, be sure to jot them down. And hi, thanks for joining today. South Carolina's in the house. Zephyr Hills is here in the house. San Francisco, welcome back. So thanks so much again for tuning in. And it looks like the comments are finally coming in. So that's exciting. But be sure to let me know where you're tuning in from. And then welcome for all of you all today. So 3 tips, 3 things for you to keep in mind, again, as we're on this mindset training journey. If we're all on it. The first thing that I want you all to remember, first, is this is a lifelong process. So one of the things that tends to happen at the beginning of every year, and I'm not saying to not make goals, very important. Yes, make goals as you will in different areas of your life. And hopefully you have your wellness goals and your mindset goals as well. However, though, when it comes to training your mindset, when it comes to you becoming the best version of who you are, this is really a lifelong commitment that you have to make. This is not something, and good evening, thanks for joining from Vegas, and Ohio is in the house as well. This is not something that you're going to make some goals for this year and it is going to happen or it's not going to happen. That is not how mindset training works. It's really about how do you become the best version of who you are day in and day out. Some of you heard me talk about last year this really great book, Atomic Habits, which was so cool to me because it talked about how you can become just 1% better every day. Just when you think about 1%, that's a really small really small number, right? Just 1% instead of us thinking of these leaps and bounds that we have to make with our mindset training. But the reason why I share that with you also is because, so for those of you new to mental health moment, I'm a psychologist, an author, a speaker, and I don't do therapy at this point in my career, but I did for a couple years in the, well, 14 years ago, in the beginning of my career in private practice. And what I can share from those times where sometimes people would come into therapy with this idea like, okay, I'm going to come here for like 3 or 4 sessions and then everything's going to be okay. So I'm going to go to therapy once a week for 3 or 4 weeks. And then all that I'm dealing with is going to be fine. And it's, first of all, highly unlikely that's going to be happening for anyone, right? It doesn't matter who you are because there's a lot of things that you may need to heal within yourself, which is fine. We're all on a healing journey, right? There may be some things you need to tweak. There may be some things you need to add in, some things you need to take away, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And those things are not going to happen in 3 or 4 weeks. They're probably not even going to happen in a year. And that is okay because who you are, who you were 10 years ago, who you are going to be, however long, a year from now or 5, 10 years from now is really, it can be really different, and that's okay. So that's the first thing that I want you to remember about mindset training is this is a lifelong commitment. And I don't say that to scare you. I actually say that because I'm hopeful that you're not mistakenly thinking like I'm just gonna do these things and in a couple weeks or a couple months I'm gonna it's the end, if you will. It's the end of my mindset training, or it's the end of me working on myself, because this has to be something that is for the rest of your life. Whether you're 16 years old watching this or you're 60 years old watching this, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. We're all at different starting points. Or maybe we're in the middle of our race or wherever we're at, and that's okay. So that's my first tip for you. My second my second thing for you is something that I hope that either you already have in your wellness practice or something you want to start. But I really encourage you to think about what is your gratitude practice. So some of you know I shared it last year on one of the episodes here. But one of the things I like to do, and again, you can do the same exact thing, you can do something different. Gratitude comes in many different forms. But one of the things I started last year was I started every single morning when I wake up. The first thing that I do is spend some time with God and say one thing that I'm grateful for. One thing every single day. That is how I start my day, with gratitude, because just being honest with y'all, what I used to do was wake up in the morning and the first thing I would do is check my cell phone. And how many of you all are guilty of that? I know I was, and I'm not here to judge. Okay, and don't judge me. But that's what I used to do. The first thing I would do, I would wake up, my cell phone was charging. I would get my cell phone and I would check Instagram, and then I would check my email, and then I would check for something, right? And I'm responding to people. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. And I'm responding to different people, and I'm already in a totally different mindset, right? That's how my day starts. So, and things happen. So maybe the emails are something urgent, maybe the emails aren't good, maybe they are positive. Who knows what questions I'm getting on Instagram and my direct messages, or right? That was how my day used to start. And I'm like, you know what? No. No, no, no. So I'm like, no, let's start the day with a clearer, fresher mind. Let's think about, there's so much that we can be grateful for, you all, right? And I don't just mean like, most people, I'm grateful for my friends, my family, and whatever it is. Those things are great. Don't get me wrong, those things are great. But if you start that practice every single day, you'll find little things to really think about. And what it does is it's retraining your brain to start to look for the positive things, to start to look at what you can be grateful for. Do not get me wrong, I am not saying this makes your stress go away, okay, at all. Of course I still get stressed out, of course there's stressful things that happen, of course there's worrisome things that happen, there's things to do, all of that, right? The stress is still there. However, though, when you're starting, again, we're talking about, for those of you just joining here, this month we're talking about mindset training. But when you start to think about starting your day, for example, or whatever part of your day, maybe it's the end of your day, where you're thinking about what am I grateful for? And you train your brain to start to see more and more of those things, like little things I would be grateful for, right? When you start to train your brain that way, it can make the things that happen, the surprises that we have in life, a little bit more, a little easier to deal with, because your mind works on trying to reframe that. However, you're grateful for this or you're grateful for that, right? So that's one of the purposes of a gratitude practice. And again, I shared mine with you, but it comes in many different forms. And I will be totally honest with you, I am totally not a morning person. So some of my mentors around me, they wake up really early in the morning, which I think is amazing, commendable. If you are like, I wake up early in the morning, I'm a morning person, and you spend 2 hours in gratitude or however much time you have, that's fantastic. I am just here to honestly share with you. I'm not a morning person. So I'm not waking up super early and spending an enormous amount of time doing this. But though when I do wake up, I spend a shorter amount of time, but every single morning consistently with this gratitude practice. So again, you do what works for you in the way it works for you. But again, ask yourself, what is your gratitude practice? So that's my second tip. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Today, we are talking about mindset training. Well, all this month, actually, we're talking about mindset training because a lot of times what happens is in the beginning of the year, you start to set different goals, you want different things, you have this momentum, which is great. However, it takes a certain mindset, right, to make these things happen, whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you desire right now. It takes a certain mindset for you to obtain or to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. So the third tip, and I think the one of a very important tip to always think about is I want you to also remember to be in practices where you work on clearing your mental clutter, right? So a lot of times we talk, I know I've seen, I feel like a gazillion books, you all, about clearing your physical space and your physical clutter, like your things, which is important, of course, too, but also the mental clutter that you have. We all have it, the stuff in your brain that you're constantly thinking about, that you're constantly worrying about. Maybe it's the past, maybe it's the future, maybe it's something present in the present, but all of that mental clutter, it's really good to work on how do I clear that space? How do I clear that mental space? So there's a couple ways that you can do it. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. This month, we will be talking about mindset training, right? As we, well, continue to step into this new year, new month, new year, new you, right? As everyone would say. But really to clear your mental clutter, one of the ways you can do it is it's something called a brain dump. And I love doing this, by the way. But it's where you write down, depending on what you're worried about or thinking about or your mental clutter, it may be like a whole list of things that you need to get done. You might want to just write down as many things just to get it out of your head. All the things you have to do. It might be something you have to do today, tomorrow, next month, next, whenever. Just write it all down. And it's not that you're writing it all down to get it done in a day, which can create more stress. You're writing it down to try to get this out of your mind. So it's not swimming around, all these ideas swimming around in your head. So write it down. Or you may be having a lot of feelings about something. You may be dealing with grief. You may be dealing with loss. You may be dealing with disappointment. You may be dealing with something that's really happy, but sometimes really happy things are stressful too. So you might have moved a good move, but that's still stressful, right? But even though it might be a good thing. So all of that, all those sorts of feelings, you can also try to get it out. Getting out your feelings comes in different forms. For some of you, you may be writers. You're like, you know what? I need to jot down all my feelings, write down in your journal or wherever it is, write down all your emotions. For some of you, you like to talk. So you are talking, hopefully, with a therapist, with a friend, a coworker, sibling, whomever, someone that you can trust, right? Getting those feelings out. Another way you might not, you're like, I don't talk, Dr. Hammond, I don't write. Cool. You might find other ways, though, other outlets to express yourself. For some of you, maybe you're painters. I have absolutely no talent when it comes to art. I think art is so beautiful and amazing. I love art museums, as an aside, but I have no talent in that area, so I don't paint. But I know a lot of people that do, and they express themselves through painting, right? Or they express themselves in some way where they're able to get their feelings out. If you're a singer, also I have no talent there either, but that's okay. If you're a singer, right? If you're a dancer, if you however it is for you that you can express these feelings to get them out. And hi, welcome from Virginia. Welcome, welcome. Make sure that you're engaging in those activities. The other thing to think about, which is really, really important, as you think about, again, for those of you just joining, we're talking about different wellness tools, if you will, to put into your toolbox when it comes to working on your mindset. But another thing that's really, really important when it comes to clearing your mental clutter is movement. So I know you always hear all the time you're supposed to exercise and all that sort of thing, but you have to do what is what is most helpful to you and the thing that you actually enjoy. So for some of you, it may be yoga. For some of you, it may be taking a walk. For some of you, it's running. For some of you, it's hiking. For some of you, it's swimming. Whatever way that you can and enjoy movement, some sort of exercise, that is also important when it comes to clearing your mental clutter. Because believe it or not, sometimes we just have these thoughts and ideas that are kind of stuck, like just stuck in our head. But when we take the time to exercise, all of the benefits of that, all the benefits of moving your body, sometimes it can work to shift a lot of the things that you're worried about and thinking about in your brain, right? Obviously we have the mind body connection. So those are just a couple of ways when it comes to your mental clutter, if you will, a couple of things for you to be thinking about. But again, the most important thing, as I mentioned before, is that every day in some way, even if it's just a little baby step, that you take the time to tell yourself that you are working on your mindset, you're working on becoming a better version of you, whatever that looks like for you. Everybody has a different idea of what that means for you, right? But becoming the better version of yourself for you and again for the people around you. And for those of you just tuning in here, it's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. If you all need me at any time, you can always reach out, drnikishahammond.com. You can connect on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Dr. Nikisha Hammond. On there, if you need any resources, any mental health resources, therapists, questions, or whatnot, you can always send a direct message on my social media. And for those of you on YouTube or watching the replay later, be sure to subscribe. If you ever miss a mental health moment, you can head to my YouTube and watch it as well. And thanks for joining here from Virginia. Welcome, welcome. Yes, if you need me, please be sure to reach out. I'm honored to be in this, in this space here with you, if you will. And I'm always grateful for you all who took the opportunity to learn about how to become better versions of yourself. So whether it's mental health moment, whether it's a podcast, whether it's YouTube, whether it's reading, however you continue, again, this is a lifelong commitment, you all. However you continue to receive the information that makes you a better person, that makes you improve, right? Is just is amazing. And I commend you for that. So thank you. Thanks for joining here from Richmond, Texas is in the house. Brazil, Rio's in the house. Welcome, welcome here. So it's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And again, if you ever miss a mental health moment, you can always head to YouTube, to my YouTube, and they are all on there for, probably the last couple of years here. So if there's a particular topic you're interested in, you can always check that out. But again, someone said me too. But again, if you need me, you know to reach me. Take care of yourselves. Again, make sure that you're constantly working on your mindset. This, I promise you all, it's really life-changing when you work on changing your mindset, when you work on becoming the best version of who you are, when you work on taking care of yourselves. Very, very life-changing. So I encourage you to take these steps. For my note takers here, for taking notes, wonderful. Continue to implement these things as well. So I will offer you tips every single week, but it's up to you, right, to put these things into action in your life so you can work on again, changing to the best version of who you are. So I will be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Have an amazing week, you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.